Wow.
We are getting started. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing today?
Welcome to Sober AF Entertainment, motherfuckers!
What's up, Duke? Woohoo!
We're Sober AF Entertainment. We create safe spaces in fun places. Do.
Yeah. You want me on a little?
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
What you doing over there, kid? You need some caffeine?
Yeah.
Come on, let's get this party going.
I haven't had caffeine all day. I did have a lot of pumpkin soup today. Delicious. However, you would think pumpkin soup in February.
It's still gas.
It's so good. It was delicious.
It's not festive, but it is healthy.
Exactly. I don't know if it's healthy. That thing, I think, was loaded with, like, cream. So,
oh my.
anyways,
Yes. Sounds delicious.
it was. Cool.
So
Well-
Sober AF Entertainment, we are a national nonprofit setting up a sober section and sober support tailgate at music festivals, concerts, and sporting events. We've hosted over 225 events over the last 5.5 years. And we partnered with the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, 17 different universities. So we are coming up with our 2024 Sober College Game Day Tour, and also speaking with a bunch of music festivals that we'll be setting up a sober support tent at, and ideally bring our silent disco. So we'll be looking for DJs to man the silent disco at these different festivals across the country.
And what platforms can they find us on, Duke?
God, that is a great question. Why don't you fill us in on that?
You guys could check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I think a lot of people don't know, too, that, like, Sober AF isn't just, like, a Colorado thing, right? And that we're actually everywhere if you want to find us. And so I think it's important to mention, make sure you look for us across the country. Like, who knows? And if you want Sober AF to come to, like, your college, to give us a shout out and we can see what we can do. Because I know I go to CU, SCO Buffs, and we have a college collegiate center, and they're pretty cool. And it's a fun place because I know I have a safe place on campus to go. But, like, they only go to a few football games versus, like, Sober AF is there sometimes, which is cool too.
Yeah, we've been in 22 different states. So we've been in almost half the country doing sober tailgates already. So that's been really cool. We also have a partnership with the Miami Dolphins. So we do have some pro games, and we've partnered with a bunch of Major League Baseball games. So we are figuring out our summer tour. Who wants to go eat some hot dogs and popcorn and watch some baseball?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, it's the season for it.
I like hanging out with people.
Yeah, that's true.
Sober people.
I mean, baseball games to me are, you just get to sit and, like, eat junk food, hang out with your friends, and then, they hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite exciting. But at least it's a fun, safe place, and, like, you're with a bunch of sober people. You might make new friends. That's kind of cool.
Well, I think it is the one sport that is, like, the most alcohol infused. I've had, like, board members go, I don't know if I can sit through a whole baseball game and not have a beer.
Yeah.
Try going to NASCAR.
Right. We have not made it to NASCAR yet. We are more the closed wheel than the open wheel community, but we're very excited about it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a big NASCAR fan.
You don't like to drive left in a circle over and over and over again?
No, I'm definitely not. Plus, it's kind of popular in the South, right?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, because I played collegiate sports out in the South, and it was I was very naive going to the South, and then I went there, and then I realized, these people like to party, and it was at the time I wasn't sober, so I was enjoying myself. But I mean, like, they made everything a drinking game. Like, anything you want, you can drink. And it's kind of funny now because I look back at that part of my life and I'm like, no wonder I was drinking. I was surrounded by people who were constantly like, yeah, let's go. And, like, it was insane. But now it's like, what do they say? You're a product of your environment, right? And like now I surround myself with people who are sober. And I mean, I still have like people who aren't sober as friends, but like when I go to like big games or like go dancing in the club, I want to go with people who aren't drinking. And I don't always want to be seen as the DD, right?
Right.
I also want to be like, oh no, I want to have fun too and not just be the ride home. So
Well, and I think it's also important to like point out that like growing up ain't easy. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like figuring yourself out, and like you said, you know, the people that you hang out with are definitely going to influence the way that you think and the way that you act. So it's important to have good people that are on your side, people that actually have your best interest at heart, rather than just a drinking buddy or somebody to get messed up with. It's very important to know who you have in your corner and kind of like foster and cultivate that friend group. So I completely agree.
Yeah, what's interesting is for me, my story is a little bit different. I didn't really end up going to college. I mean, I went to CU for 5 days, but that doesn't really that doesn't really count.
That could be a record.
yeah.
It probably is.
Right.
But I went to like rehab from the time I was like 18 to about 20, and I've been in and out since. And what's interesting for me is like, even though like that was the time period of my life where I should have like been figuring things out, being independent, doing things on my own, I was still going to these places and like meeting friends who were like newly in recovery. And what is hard for me and still is today is like when I go out in the real world, they say it's hard to make like connections with people. And like my rehab friends, like some of them, a lot of them do not stay clean afterwards or don't continue their program. And so for me and like Sober AF, what was really cool is when I went to the rehab I went to in Colorado, and they brought Sober AF there, like I got to learn how to like go to events and find people who are sober there and make connections there. And I've really appreciated that.
Give it up for Rose House.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We appreciate them.
Yes. So it's been cool to like go to events and meet new people. And then I think that's how I met the Phoenix facility, which was awesome to know about. And yeah, I don't know. It's nice to like have something that's like not just like a rehab thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to this place where people are going to drink or do drugs and I'm going to be okay because I have people by me.
Well, just as much as getting messed up is a lifestyle, sobriety is a lifestyle as well. And, you know, in my own personal story, you know, growing up, I always thought like there was something like wrong with me. Like I was always depressed, you know, I was nervous around other people. So I would drink and, you know, do among other things to kind of like take the edge off so that I could talk to people. And it gave me that like this false sense of like, oh, like I'm finally part of the group. I'm finally part of what's going on. And it's interesting because you know, I've also been in and out of sobriety, and like it's crazy how over time I've been able to uncover these personal gifts that I think we're all born with, and it's only through sobriety that you're actually able to like allow them to shine. So now, like, you know, I now that I'm sober and now that I'm doing the things where I can actually look in the mirror and like say, dude, I love you. Like, thank you so much for getting your shit together. You know, it's so easy for me to talk to anybody now. It's a lot easier for me to have connection with people because I'm allowing myself to be open instead of reserving myself. And all the things that I thought alcohol and, you know, other substances would give me is something that I've always had. So I think that those things just gave me a false sense of like bringing that out. And, you know, it's been an awesome journey. It's been rough as it is for everybody that goes through it. But I would definitely say it's quite easily the best thing I've ever done with my life for sure.
I think we all felt this feeling of like, I'm going to lose all my friends if I get sober or if I try a substance-free night or a substance-free month or two. And that was my concern. And just, you know, learning how to relate with your buddies who do drink. And so for me, I knew there was a sober support group inside the Grateful Dead. The idea of getting sober was kind of tolerable because of that. So give a little shout out to the Wharf Rats. They started in '83. Our OG.
That's awesome. That's history. That's right. Legend. Yeah.
So, and then my core group of high school buddies still let me kind of hang out. And I think that was really important for me. Just, my life didn't have to be, stuck at home every night. But I found, recovery support in other areas, be it the 12 steps or be it young people groups. But I think, the stigma of, oh my God, I'm going to be the sober guy means, the fun's over, doesn't have to be the case. And I was really a big part of my being able to say substance free was because I was still able to go out and, still went to a lot of Grateful Dead shows in early sobriety. And but I have learned that it's a little more fun with a buddy who's also not drinking. So I started this nonprofit 6 years ago when I was watching my kids' community get blown up and just thought, we need to teach these kids how to have fun sober and give them an option. And that's, how this thing started.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I want to speak on what you said too, just the whole fun aspect, oh, I'm going to miss out on so much fun. Well, is it fun when you lose your purse or your wallet? Is it fun when you crash into another car?
No, not fun.
Is it fun? Yeah. Is it fun when you're worried about, how am I going to be able to afford rent this month? Is it fun when you injure yourself? Is it fun? There's been a bunch of good times that I've had, but there's been plenty of instances where I was not particularly enjoying myself. And I think that's just the reality of the beast. I think that most people can speak to that aspect of just alcohol in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that alcohol and other things made me was a chameleon. And when I say chameleon, it means that I just, whatever group I was with, I took on the persona of that group. And it kind of hid me from who I really am. And it made me really scared to be who I am because I was fearful that I wouldn't fit in some places. And it wasn't until I found when I got into recovery and I went to treatment and then I started hanging out with sober people and I started slowly coming out of my shell and these people still loved me and still wanted to hang out with me. And I was like, oh, I can still make friends without saying, hey, can I buy you a drink? Or hey, you want to hang out and get high or whatever. People want to hang out with me when I'm at my clearest in my brain, which is crazy because I've always thought my brain was enemy number one, that person's crazy. And the thing is the more sober events I go to, the more time I hang out with sober people, the more I feel myself coming out and being myself and that person being received so well by people and people just love you for who you are. And that was something that I think I needed. And especially being 23 and just early 20s, you don't know what you're doing with your life. Being sober has helped tremendously. So,
yeah.
Well, and that's why I think that what we have going on here is so massive because at these events, you can actually be yourself and you don't have to pretend to be anybody. And it gives you an opportunity to make friends with other sober people. And, I think it's important to be able to foster a comfortable environment, a supportive community like that, because without that, without that supportive aspect, I think that we isolate. And when we isolate, it becomes harder for us to stick by this thing that we got going on, and I think that FOMO, fear of missing out, starts to creep in. And I just I believe in what we're doing, and I feel like we're contributing back to the community in a very meaningful way. And, I think that, in my own personal desires and wants, that's really all I've ever wanted to do is provide back to the community and be of service rather than just living in this selfish paradigm that, we've all been inside at one point, just trying to be a little bit less selfish, guys, and give back.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so freaking hard.
I wake up every day and just to give back, it's just, I want to crawl out of my skin. Screw you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Something else I like too about Sober AF is I am not an EDM person. that music sometimes. Like, it depends. Like, I have a hard time with like loud music, but I did go to Subtronics in Wyoming in 2021.
Yes.
Was it 2021? And like, I thought it was so cool to just like experience that for the first time. I've never actually been to like a rave before, but I've heard through like other people that there's just like a bunch of drugs and alcohol and everyone's fucked up. But it was cool to just like experience a new type of music sober, next to the speaker, wearing a bunch of hats, wearing a bunch of coats, like knowing that like if anybody were to like need help, we had Narcan, like we were all there. It was like the coolest experience, one of the coolest experience I've ever had. Because I prefer going to like the Nuggets games or the Rockies games, but I think it'd be cool to try out other music places. And also, like, I don't know, I'm really excited for Odessa this summer.
Yeah.
At Folsom Field, folks.
At Folsom Field.
Yes, I'm super excited.
I would just say we've done this for 5.5 years, coming up on 6 years. And, you know, I would get emails from and phone calls from people who are like, look, I'm not sober. I still smoke weed, but I want to come to your event. And I'm like, you know, as long as you are substance free at the event, that's great. You know, we are non-judgmental. This is a safe space for everyone. We just ask that you come in a space that won't trigger somebody else. So don't come if you plan on showing up drunk or high. So it's just, you know, it doesn't have to be sober per se. It's like, hey, we're just giving a space for anyone who wants to be substance free and figure out if you can do it. I think there's a huge world out there of people who are trying to live healthier lives, and part of it is substance free. And there's just not a lot of people out there promoting do nothing, right? And we don't sell things. We want you to come and just have fun. So if that is you, would love for you to come check out the website, soberafe.com, check out the schedule, and feel free to reach out to us. We'll teach you how to host your own substance-free section if you would like, or some type of sober support tailgate. And this is going to be a really big, crazy year for us. And we're getting phone calls from different festivals all over the country. And we're excited to start promoting them and the different things that we can do, be it the silent disco, or we can manage a sober campground, or we can manage a sober support tent at these different festivals.
Yeah. I mean, all I have to say is that it's super exciting, the year coming up. There's a lot coming in and stuff coming to fruition. I was actually talking to someone today. They were like, "Oh, Jenna, what are you doing after this?" I was at work, and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually going to go record a podcast." And they were like, "Really?" And older lady. I work at a retirement home, and I'm a barista. And
give it up for Jenna. She is doing service.
I am.
Yes.
I am. It's great. The residents are great. But at the time, I was talking to her about like what I was doing, and she was like, "What? So who is the podcast for?" And I was like, "Sober AF Entertainment. I'm sober."
Did you know what AF stood for?
I don't know. I think that one slipped by.
Right.
But she
sober and fun.
Yeah.
If you're at the old folks home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sober and fun.
Sober and fun.
Right.
Oh yeah. But
if you're at a music festival, it's sober as fuck.
Woo, 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 woo.
Entertainment.
But I was telling her, yeah, we go to like sporting events, we go to concerts, raves, we have a sober section, sober tailgate, we have Narcan, and I believe have had to use it before and like save people. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like you're doing like real work in the world, like helping people." And she goes, "Because when I went to like, I think it was like a Rockies game or a Nuggets game," she goes like, "and they were just like, I didn't want to drink, and like people were like so drunk around me and all this kind of stuff."
Public service announcement. Don't be an asshole,
Yeah.
please.
Dude, that reminds me of another time. But like, no. And she was like, I was like, "Yeah, it works too." I said the only like requirement is like, or we ask you just not be under the influence while you're like with us and at the tailgate, but you don't have to like be committed to being sober your whole life. You can try this out and see if you're sober curious. So
I like that. Sober curious.
Yeah.
That's great. We're going to have to make stickers about that.
yeah, are you sober curious? Or
And
like,
then
you
she
know,
was
the guy.
telling you stories about her time at Woodstock.
Oh no,
Right.
dude! It's the receptionist at the place I work. I always tell her I love her outfits. Her name's Wanda. Shout out Wanda.
Wanda Sykes?
Yeah,
No.
she's the best. But it was really cute, and all the residents were super excited to hear that I was doing a podcast and when it was going to come out and stuff. But I'm excited to get this out, and I guess show people too that like I think the big thing is you don't have to be committed to being sober.
Right.
Like you don't have to be like, I have 90 days. Like that's great if you do. Hell yeah, we love you. But if you're like, hey, I like literally just stopped last night, or like I just want to try this one day. That's all we ask. Like you just give it a shot. And we're here to support that. And we're here to show you that it's not like a total bummer to be sober, right?
Right.
And so it's actually super fun and super cool. And I think we have a lot to share with you, and a lot that we're really excited to like get the word out about, and show our enthusiasm, because I know it's helped everyone in this room.
Well, I think it's a good point. People don't know, like, what is it, like an AA meeting? You got to talk about your feelings, and it's not. So on the 21st of March, we're going to have a Knicks Nuggets game at Ball Arena. So 2 hours beforehand, we'll have a killer tailgate inside Ball Arena at the Continental Divide Room. We'll have food, and we'll have cornhole, and we will have some speakers, but it's more like politicians talking about what they're doing for the opioid crisis. We'll do a Narcan training. So you don't have to show up and feel like you're going to be put on the spot to talk about your feelings in any way, right? It is the opposite of that. It is a motherfucking tailgate. So come prepare to tailgate sober. We'll have a DJ there, and we'll have tons of fun. And then we're all going to go sit in a sober section. So if you go to the website, you can buy your ticket, and it's discounted down to $35. So the world champion Denver Nuggets, $35 tickets. Then
Give Duke a round of applause
There
for
you
that
go.
price. Am I right?
In this economy, you got to.
Yeah, I'll take credit for that. But unfortunately, then we have a Abs game. Abs are a little more expensive. But that's on the 26th of March. So the same thing, like, really fun tailgate inside Ball Arena. Then get some free food, have a great time, listen to a couple speakers if you'd like, and then sit in our nosebleed seats that are discounted down to $76. Actually, it's not true. It's $56. So still not too bad for world champion hockey. So go to the website if you want to check out and purchase some of those tickets. And then we also do April 5th, which is a Friday. We're going to be doing two things on that day. One is a Mammoth game, and the other one is a silent disco party in Longmont at the Recovery Cafe. So we got some cool shit happening in the next couple of weeks.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited for the silent disco. It'll be my first
It's going to be
one.
lit.
It'll be my first one. Cool. I think that's exciting. I think we got a lot going on.
I think for sure, like, there is a big movement going on. I know Jenna and I went on a date after last podcast, and we went to get tacos, and we were wearing our Sober AF merch.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's always like, oh, that's such a cool hat. Oh, that's such a cool shirt. And then they're like, what's going on? And then we tell them about the podcast, and they're like, when is it coming out? So it's definitely,
Handed out some stickers.
yeah,
Nice.
definitely when we wear the merch around, it's like, what is this? What's going on? What
Yeah.
is happening?
People are very sober curious.
Yes. Well, give it up for Jenna and Kai, because they're the ones who are going to make it look cool. So
Woo, woo.
if
Oh,
it's cool, you can thank those two. And if it looks bad, you can talk
Remember
to
us.
those two.
Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see if I can work my magic. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, we need it.
I know.
I just sit here and look pretty.
Yes, you do, babe.
We all got to
Beautiful.
roll.
All right.
I'm the crazy old man. Crazy old man driving a bus.
Yeah, you're Otto.
Who
from
gets
The
lost?
Simpsons.
Yes.
Hey, you could be my
100%.
Rick and I could be your Morty.
There we
You know
go.
what I mean?
All right,
There
I'll
you
take
go.
that.
Solid. Solid.
Rick's a badass.
Hell yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
I love
Love
that
that.
show.
Yeah, I do too. It's a good one.
Just the tip.
Just the tip,
for the
guys.
week.
Our
What do you
tip
got?
for the week. Your sober
the week.
AF tip of the week.
Sober AF tip of the week. If you guys turn the water to cold for 60 seconds after your warm shower, you will have elevated dopamine levels for up to 7 hours after your shower. So if you're dealing with any anxiety, any depression, it's a good way to battle that, to mitigate that. And I do it every single day, and it actually helps me very consistently. I feel great all day long. You guys should try it. And that is our Sober AF tip of the week.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys, we also want you guys to be a part of the podcast as well. So if you have any music or any artwork that you would like to send to us, we will leave a link in the description for how to contact us so that your work can be featured on our podcast. We really wanted a way to include you guys. We're working on different formats for the show, different stylizations, and we are excited to see what you guys send us. Thank you.
We're also looking for DJs. So we have 100 headsets and 3 transponders, meaning we need 3 DJs
By when?
all the time. So for all of our events that we do silent disco at. So send us some music. And if you need us in your area to do a silent disco, let us know. We'll see what we can work out.
I actually met a DJ at the full moon party at the Sober Bar, and I got a DJ's contact information
on.
for you. So yeah.
Sick. Sounds good to me.
His name is John Summit, rumored. So super excited about that. We'll have some fun.
Awesome.
Sick.
Cool beans.
We love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Stay sober.
Stay sober.
Stay safe.
Stay frosty. Peace.